Part 1. The first night expanded. They say you never forget the sound of someone watching you. Not the voice, not the breath, the sound. A kind of quiet that isn't empty, but full of pressure. Like standing underwater. You can't hear anything specific, but you know you're not alone. That's how it started for me. Tuesday night, 2:13 a.m., according to the blinking red digits on my nightstand. The kind of hour where everything feels unreal, where the world holds its breath, where the shadows stretch longer than they should. And the rain never stops. It had been falling since dusk, not a storm, no thunder, just rain, soft, persistent. It hissed against the rooftop like static from a distant signal, like the house was trying to tune something in or drown something out. I'd left the bedroom window slightly cracked open, not because I wanted to, because the latch didn't catch right. And sometimes the house just shifted. Old wood, warped frame. It groaned when the wind pushed in the right way, like something exhaling just beneath the walls. I was drifting, half dreaming, half waiting for sleep. And then it changed. I didn't hear anything at first. I felt it. The atmosphere in the room shifted, like pressure had dropped, like something invisible stepped through the doorway and closed it behind them. The air felt thicker, colder, yes, but not just that. It tasted different. Dry, sharp, and then, unmistakably, metallic. Iron. The smell of old coins, of blood dried onto rusted steel. It clung to the back of my throat. I sat up. My sheets clung to me like wet skin. The rain outside sounded distant, even though I knew it hadn't stopped. Everything inside the room had gone unnaturally quiet, not peaceful, expectant. That's when I saw it. The window, fogged from the inside, misted with my own shallow breath. Behind that glass, a shape. It wasn't moving. It wasn't doing anything. Just standing there, still, unnaturally still. Tall, lean, shoulders too narrow, head tilted slightly, as if the neck was broken, or curious. My body froze, but my mind screamed, not in words, in instinct, in some ancient language carved into our bones. I didn't need to know what it was. I just knew. If I moved, it would see me, not with eyes, with something deeper, something behind the face, beneath the skin. The rain continued to trace down the window in soft, silver streaks. Then I saw it. Not movement. Reflection. A glint. Flickering red. Like candlelight cotton fluid. Eyes? Number, not exactly. And then the sound. Faint. Deliberate. Unmistakable. A scrape. Not fingernails. Not claws. Teeth. Teeth on glass. Part 2. The morning after. Expanded. I must have blacked out. Or maybe I just forgot how long I sat there, frozen, staring back. Because when the sun started bleeding into the room, I was still in bed, still upright, still shaking. The window was wide open. Not just unlatched, open. Rain had soaked the floor. The carpet, once beige, was dark with damp. I stepped onto it and flinched. It was cold, wetter than it should have been, and it squished beneath my toes. I stared at the open frame. There was no sign of force, no broken lock, no footprints. But something was wrong with the glass. I leaned closer. There were marks, pressed into the interior pane, deep, crescent-shaped indentations. I reached up and lined my teeth with them. Perfect match, only larger, far too large. There was something else in the corner of the sill. A smear of dark red. I touched it. Still warm, fresh. It hadn't just watched me. It had been here, inside. Part 3. The voice beneath expanded. I didn't leave the house that day. I should have. But where would I go? Who could I tell? No one believes you when you say you were watched. They laugh. They tell you it was a dream, that it was just a shadow or a trick of light. So I stayed, locked the windows, double-latched the front door, checked every mirror, every cupboard. When night came, I didn't sleep. I sat in the hallway, lights on, knife in hand. Nothing happened. Not that night. But 3 nights later, it returned. I didn't see it at first. I heard it, not outside the window, inside my head. A whisper, dry and smooth, like silk drawn across teeth. Let me in. You're already awake. You're already mine. My hands went numb. My legs wouldn't move. And then the smell returned. Soil. Wet earth. Like something unearthed. Like rot, hiding beneath roses. I ran to the window. It was closed, but the condensation had returned. Only this time, the silhouette wasn't outside. It was in the reflection, looking back at me. Its smile didn't stretch lips. It stretched reality. Part 4. The smell of soil. After that night, the house changed. I don't mean it creaked more, or that the lights flickered. I mean it breathed differently. There was a rhythm now, a pulse. Like the walls had lungs, and I could hear them inhale when I wasn't listening closely enough. The rain never stopped. Day and night, relentless, quiet, like a distant scream smothered in a pillow. By the 4th day, I began to notice the smell. In the hallway first, then the kitchen, then my bedroom. It wasn't mold or rot. It was soil, freshly turned earth. The kind you find 6 feet under, damp, heavy, full of secrets. I opened every cupboard, pulled up the floorboards in a panic. Nothing. But it stayed, clinging to the air like smoke in a sealed room. And the mirrors, they began to change. First, just condensation. Then something more. I'd wake to find long streaks running down the glass. Not like water. Thicker, opaque, reddish. Not quite blood, not quite not. I wiped one clean, and as I did, my reflection didn't move. It stood still, smiling, teeth like splinters of bone, eyes missing, not empty, just absent, like they'd never been there to begin with. I covered every mirror, draped them in bed sheets, even the microwave, even the toaster. I unplugged everything with a reflection. And still, every night at 2:13, I'd hear it again. Let me in. You already know what I am. Part 5, the invitation, expanded. On the 7th night, the rain fell harder than ever. It was louder now, not just outside, inside, dripping where it shouldn't, running down walls, pooling in the corners of the ceiling. Dark, slick, cold. I didn't sleep, didn't try. I sat in the kitchen with every light on, door locked, phone in hand. But when I checked the time, 2:13, every clock frozen, every screen blank. And then, the silence, the real silence. It pressed into my ears like deep water. No fridge hum, no wind, no breathing. Even the rain had stopped. The air went still, heavier than before. So dense it was hard to blink. That's when I heard the window open. No creak, no rattle, just the absence of the seal. I stepped into the bedroom, and it was standing in the middle of the room. Not outside, not behind glass, inside. Its form was still vague, like shadows layered on top of one another. But the smile, that was sharp, too sharp, wider than its face. It didn't move, but it was closer every time I blinked. I looked to the window and saw it. Words, smeared across the fogged pane, written from the inside. You looked. Then from behind me, a breath, hot, wet, slow. It slid across the back of my neck like something tasting the air through me. and a voice, lower this time, like it had found its throat. Now I'm inside.